Hello and welcome to the Orchid Hut. Thank you for taking the time to watch a video from my channel. My name is Dana, and today we will be doing a repotting of an Epidendrum orchid. Now this one was in a video just a little while ago. It was a bag baby purchase that I had made at my local home improvement store. And this was the epidendrum in that purchase that was kind of had a confusing name. I think the tag on the outside said one thing and the tag inside the pot said something slightly different. So it is something Serena O'Neill and or Mabel Conda, maybe with Cordillera in there somehow. So this doesn't exactly match what was on the outside of the bag, but we will wait and see what happens when it blooms someday, and maybe we'll have a better answer. But this was the orchid that had the pretty tired looking media on top of the pot. The roots don't particularly look that bad on the surface, but the media looks like it has been around a while. It does have, a little bit of leaf damage here and there. This leaf at the top is sort of like something crushed it at some point and it's a bit bent. It looks like it may have tried to have a bloom sheath at some point right here, but it didn't develop. And it has one large pseudobulb and then some smaller ones from the previous years. So we're going to take this out of the pot, see what's going on in there, and give it a fresh start. Okay, now I'm not even going to bother to pour that out, but you can see that Better Grow likes the little chunks of styrofoam in the bottom of the pot. And this this media has a lot of charcoal in it, but the wood pieces are soft. So the charcoal, of course, has not degraded like the wood. So this is definitely due for a repot. You can see in the bottom that the root system is for the most part gone. I'm gonna pick off as much of this as possible. The orchid has not been watered in, well, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days because our weather has turned much cooler, and so I didn't really want to water things and have their roots be wet and cold at the same time. So at some point here I may decide that I don't want to force the bark from the roots, because that could actually be damaging some of the few good roots that it has left. So I'm gonna let as much come off as it wants to come off, and then I will take it to the sink and get the roots wet, and then hopefully that will allow some of the rest of the bark to release from the roots. And it'll also make the roots a bit more flexible so that they won't snap as easy. Okay, so this is where I'm going to take a pause, go to the sink, and see if I can get the rest of those bark pieces off of the roots. I'll be back. Okay, so we're back from the sink, and some of those old bark chips were extremely stubborn. They had been there so long that the roots were just sort of embedded in many of them, and some of the roots were broken as I was trying to get rid of that old bark, but not too many. Okay, so let's have a look at the structure of this orchid. Once all of the media was removed, you can see the tiniest of pseudobulbs here where the plant was probably started. And then this one was probably the next one when the plant was still a seedling. And those two oldest pseudobulbs is the same place where the root system is completely lost. And that's pretty typical of plants with pseudobulbs. The root system is the oldest, and the root system is typically lacking underneath the oldest of the pseudobulbs. So I'm gonna for certain be removing this one because it just does not serve the plant any purpose anymore. And this one, you know, does not really have its own root system. The one or two roots that's there is dead, is really soft and will have to be cut away. So we have to make a decision about whether to keep this pseudobulb and have it be a 4 pseudobulb plant, or whether to go ahead and just remove this one since we're repotting it, because we don't think it really provides the plant much in the way of energy storage anymore. Because this plant is probably not at its peak right now, you know, it was in that old bark and, you know, maybe didn't have the best growing conditions, I tend to want to leave this pseudobulb there at least for the next year or two, or until it dies, because it is still helping to support the rest of the plant. And this next pseudobulb right next to it, you know, really did not grow all that large, and I'm probably going to be removing this outer sheath because it's just looking like it's getting a little bit soft and is up close against the rest of the bulb there where moisture can collect. And so I'm going to leave this one, but I'm still going to be cutting away the dead roots underneath. So these cutters have already been flamed. They're ready to go. And I'm going to be sort of trimming and looking and making decisions as I go. Now, there were a lot of the roots out of the pot. Epidendrums are not typically, you know, going to be the kind of orchid that's going to have aerial roots on purpose, but there's probably a case where the roots were coming out of the pot because what was in the pot was not so great. So many of these roots are partially dead, which means they're soft on the ends, but closer to the plant they still have some substance. So I don't cut them all the way back because they can branch and still support the plant. But some of the ones that were underneath are completely gone. And you just kind of take them one by one and decide where to trim them. This root system is not as intimidating as, say, like an oncidium, where it's really just difficult to untangle it and see what's what. Now, as I moved this older pseudobulb, it's not connected that well anymore, which may give me a different reason for wanting to get rid of it here in a second. Let me check it. If it's not connected that well, it may just be better to dispose of it now. Now as we're getting around to the other side of the plant, there are more roots, but they're not in the greatest of condition because they're a little bit soft, or you can already see the threads on the end. The top of the plant keeps flopping around. Okay, so let's check this pseudobulb that seems like it's not hanging on really well. Yeah. So that pulled off relatively easily. That wasn't really attached all that much anymore, and I was going to need to trim that leaf anyway. So that made the decision there. When these dried coverings on the pseudobulbs are actually really dry, you can pull them away safely. They do have a purpose while the pseudobulb is forming, you know, to help protect that pseudobulb and help it develop, but once they're dry, it's safe to remove them, and it is actually better to remove them so that moisture doesn't collect in there. Okay, so I'm relatively happy with this now. It's in better shape. That's interesting. There's another one of those turquoise spots that was also on the root of my Dendrobium repot the other day. Better Grow uses something that causes the roots to turn blue-green or turquoise colored. Okay, so now let's talk about the pot and the media. So because this orchid has a root system similar in size to, or rather I guess maybe not in size like small or big, but in thickness, the roots are the same similar thickness as to a Dendrobium, I will be using my Dendrobium mix. I have never seen a mix pre-made specifically for the purposes of epidendrums, so we're going to be using this. So let me get my large bark in the bottom, 2 pieces, and I'm trying the same type of orchid pot that I like. It has the cone in the bottom with all of the aeration slits all the way around. But this one, if you can tell, is a very opaque color, and it's also a light blue. I've been having a little bit of trouble with algae growing inside the pots for my outside orchids, and that's because, you know, sunlight can work its way through the opaque clear pots. So I'm going to try this one and see if it makes any kind of difference or has any kind of effect on sort of prohibiting the algae to grow in there. Okay, so large bark in the bottom, a little bit of Dendrobium mix in the bottom. Whoops, and I still see a string. Oh, no, okay. Now, new growth will probably be coming somewhere near this largest pseudobulb. So a lot of people would say put the oldest part of the plant closer to the side of the pot. So I'm going to be doing that a little bit. I tend to not want to skew it to one side too much, mostly just because I don't care how that looks. If I have to repot it in 2 years because it has grown to the edge of the pot, well, so be it. The bark will probably need to be changed by then anyway. And so again, we're going to be looking for you know, no visible air pockets in the media. I don't want to press it down too much, but I do need for the plant to be stabilized. Once I tap it, it's probably going to be that the orchid is now a little bit too deep in the pot, so I can pull it back up to get it to where I need it to be. Okay, so let's have a look on the sides of the pot. So it is a little bit more difficult to see through these pots, you know, see the root system. But I think if you were outside in the sunlight, you'd still be able to see. I'm not seeing any large air pockets that we need to deal with. Let's get a little bit more media. And I think I still want to pull this up just a little bit. Okay. The orchid should always be resting on top of the media, not buried beneath it. It is a challenge when you have pseudobulbs growing at different levels, but it can usually be done with a little bit of adjustment. Okay, so let's get some of this mess cleared out of the way and look at our finished product here. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. I will go ahead and water it in to let the media become accustomed to the moisture. And hopefully this one will be able to live outside once spring arrives. Thanks so much for watching. The subscribe button will be in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Look for me on Facebook and Instagram. And thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.